Kings of Leon have released their 8th studio album, When You See Yourself, which is available as an NFT. But what is it, and what implications does this have for the music industry? Hello, the Ragamuffins here, and today we're giving a quick summary of the Kings of Leon album being available as an NFT. Now we're going to try and explain this as best we can, but there will be some additional articles in the description if you want to do some further reading. So, NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and this album is one of the first to be released in this format, and possibly the biggest one to date. So NFTs are essentially a form of cryptocurrency, and they contain digital assets. Now, the difference between NFTs and other form of cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, for example, is the non-fungible part, which basically means that each token is unique. So these assets on the tokens can be music, art, anything like that, anything at all, really. And buying one of these tokens is essentially like buying a perk that the band has set up for the fan. Are you guys still with me so far?
I think so.
Yep.
So, in the case of Kings of Leon, they have 3 different perks for this album. So one is a special album package, which is essentially a super deluxe version of the album, and it's worth roughly $50. Another one is some form of audio-visual art from the band. I don't know a lot about this one, so it'd be interesting to see what it actually is. And the third one, which I think is the most interesting, is a live show perk, which basically offers fans lifetime tickets for the band. However, only 18 of these tokens are available, and only 6 are being sold with this release. So the remaining ones will be sold off potentially in the future with other albums. And the purpose of this is to start a push to use NFTs in the music industry as a new way to distribute art. In some ways, it's very similar to a Patreon. So you pay more money to support a band, and in return, you gain access to something exclusive from the band, so everybody wins. So another example of this is Grimes sold visual art as NFTs, and it went for almost $6 million. So the thing about this that I think is interesting is that NFTs can be made available for a limited time, which is what Kings of Leon have done. And after that, they can be sold or traded like stocks. So for their case, these NFTs are only available for 2 weeks, at which point all the tokens become tradable assets. And interestingly, what's great about this is every time a stock is resold, Kings of Leon will make money from it. So it becomes a constant way to support the band every time it gets sold. And an expert on NFTs said that this model can essentially create once-in-a-lifetime pieces of art that will become extremely exclusive. So it becomes a thing that has a potential for a very long lifespan, particularly if a band does multiple NFTs per album. You guys still with me?
Yes.
Fading slightly.
The thing is, I think a lot of people are going to get bogged down in the kind of cryptocurrency aspect of it. But essentially what it means is that, like, I think for me the best way to associate it is like Patreon, where you pay for something exclusive, but it's all getting bogged down in kind of the cryptocurrency trading and reselling kind of aspect of it. So ultimately, what does this mean for the future of the industry? Well, streaming services pay artists terribly, we all know that, and they've made it almost impossible for it to be sustainable for artists. So this opens up another opportunity for fans to directly support their favourite artists, a bit like how we talked about the While She Sleeps Sleep Society. If you're a fan and you love that band, you will invest more money to get something out of it. You know, and this could potentially be a model for independent artists that, let's say, for example, they can't afford to get vinyl pressed. They could make NFTs available with their albums and provide any perk that they want, from gig tickets to exclusive songs. So it could very well become a thing that makes being a musician, being a creative person, more sustainable. But it's too early to tell if this is the future or if this is a trend. But it can put the power back in the hands of the artists that want to use it. What do you guys kind of think of this?
It's quite interesting. It sounds like it opens up the opportunity for things like limited edition, collectible kind of things. And again, it like you said, it puts power back to the artist and gives them sort of guaranteed money in a way, and a long-term way of making money, rather than just the initial burst from album sales and then it completely disappearing.
Yeah, I agree. It feels much more than you kind of have a salary in a way. You have that repetition of that income, which is good. I like some of the ideas on the perks, because there are so many bands that I know for a fact that if there was something that I could get in a way which was you had lifetime tickets, like one per tour at least, it just saves on that time of every time I want to go and see a certain band that they tour, I already know I have a ticket and I can go to that show. And it just saves that hassle a little bit. And that's nice kind of to have that support of a band in that way. It's a lot to get your head around. And again, with this them being the first kind of band to do this, almost like how we've seen Sleep Society be the first kind of patron like that, and you're seeing other bands like Tala who are kind of looking into it a little bit. It'll be nice to see who could follow in the footsteps now of Kings of Leon, and they are a big name kind of band. Who are they going to influence to kind of channel down this route as well? So yeah, just keep an eye on it and see who else is going to follow in these footsteps.
Yeah, and I do think it's good of Kings of Leon as a big band to kind of be willing to take the risk on this for the sake of potentially the industry as a whole. Because if this does work and is successful, like I said, anyone from a band of that size right down to an independent artist could use this if they want to.
It sounds like it might take a few attempts and a few different bands trying it to sort of fine-tune the system and work out exactly what works with it, but there definitely seems to be potential there.
Whether it works for everyone in the industry remains to be seen, but for Kings of Leon, this NFT release has generated around $2 million for the band, with some of the proceeds going towards Live Nation's crew fund.
Well, I really didn't expect that. That's a fantastic amount of money. Fair play to them. It shows that this model can really, really work. And I really like the fact that the proceeds of some of this are going to the Live Nation crew fund. Like, these people have lost so much money during the past year. They rely on these tours to happen. And so to support these people that work tirelessly behind the scenes that sometimes just get no recognition whatsoever, that's a really, really good thing on their part. Fair play to them. And I guess off the back of that, let's see who else can use this model and make a good success of it, hopefully.
Well, there is one massive issue with this, and that's the environmental impact that these NFTs have, which has turned a lot of people off them. For example, just one work of art by Grimes produced an estimated 70 tonnes of CO2 emissions, and 303 editions were sold. So it raises the questions of if this is actually worth it. What do you guys at home think of this? Is it the future, or will it burn out and be forgotten? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And hey, while you're here, why not subscribe? We have a monthly podcast, album reviews, and other little videos like this in the world of alternative music. We've been the Ragamuffins. Thanks for watching.